Guys, I sure come at you today with another Raid Shot Legends Champion Guide. Welcome to the video, guys. Glad to have you taking a little bit of time out of your day to talk some Raid with yours truly. Today, we're going to take a look at a champion who, believe it or not, this is shocking, almost 3 years, I almost said 5 years, almost 3 years to the day he was introduced to the game, and it is Tuhak the Wanderer. He was part of the Vergamcar fusion, thanks to YumiLove.net here for this graphic. It was not a bad fusion, right? Vergamcar obviously wasn't that good, but it did get a pretty significant buff here, 2 years later, 2.5 years later, and then we had Fane, who I'm covering right now. We had Fane, who's really good in Clan Boss. I'm going to do a guide on her. Barath the Bloodsoaked, who we've done a guide on. Kaden, who we've done a guide on, and now Tuhak the Wanderer, who we're doing a guide on today. So a pretty dang good fusion. Again, this was all the way back in May of 2020. Dude, it doesn't feel like that long ago. Doesn't feel like that long ago. Anyway, guys, let's talk about what makes this champion so. But before we do so, real quickly here, let's give a couple shout outs here. Rajib says, hey, Ash, hope you can do a guide on Ursula the Mourner and Tuhak the Wanderer. It's been 2 years since you made a guide for Tuhak. It sure has. Well, asking you shall receive. We've already done an updated Ursula the Mourner guide as well about a week or two ago here on the channel. Shagur or Tuhak, says Ada de Clark. Okay, we need to do a Shagur still, and he's a really, really cool champion. And Ada comes in again, asking for a Shagur, and Ada comes in again. We had Tom Lacau says, could you do Tuhak? Saw your video with Scratch. I'm really looking forward to a rank 6 him next, but don't know how to build him with his kit. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this monster of a champion. Tuhak the Wanderer. He's an attack-based champion. His base speed is average, 97. His defense below average at 870. His attack, I would say average, slightly below average for an attack-based champion at 1365. And then HP, I would say average too, slightly below average at 16k. So nothing to write home about when we talk about the base stats on this champion. On his A1, an unfair fight. This is his A1 ability, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 40% win booked chance of increasing the cooldown of one of the target's skills by 1 turn at random. Increase the cooldown of all of the target skills by 1 turn instead if this champion has less than 50% HP when attacking on each hit. Okay, pretty cool A1 ability. Whirl of Battle, his A2, attacks all enemies. 100% chance of placing a decreased speed for 2 turns. Stop right there. There's not that many champions in the entire game. I want to say there's around 7, maybe 8, that have an AoE decreased speed at 100% land rate on a 3-turn cooldown. So he's already very unique in that regard. There's only, I think, Tanix Hateflower and Tuhak the Wanderer, I want to say, are the only 2 epics with that ability. I might be missing one, but it's very, very rare to have. Also, plays an increased speed on this champion for 2 turns. So he's bringing his own big version of increased speed on a 3-turn cooldown. Great. Heals this champion by 15% of the damage inflicted if they have less than 50% HP when attacking. So now he has his own heal built in as well. Awesome ability. Clever Brutality. On a 4-turn cooldown when booked, steals 50% of the target's turn meter. Has a 100% chance when booked to placing a stun debuff for 2 turns. Steals 100% of the target's turn meter if this champion has less than 50% HP when attacking. So again, when we have less than 50% HP, he's going to not only place a 2-turn stun, but also steal 100% of the turn meter, if not stealing 50% of the turn meter. Man, this is a really, really nasty ability, guys. I mean, it's really good. Stealing turn meter, 2-turn stun. I mean, that's great. 100% chance of landing that. And then the passive, Ironheart, decreases the damage taken by this champion by 20% when their HP drops below 60%. So a really nice passive as well to mitigate his damage when it gets below 50%. Usually we see, if there is any ability like this, usually it's like, 50%, 40%, HP remaining. But this is 60%, so it's actually really, really nice. He also brings attack, in all battles on his aura by 22%. Not a bad aura lead as well. So man, oh man, how hard does this dude hit is the big question. Let's take a look at hellhades.com. He has a 1.9 strong damage multiplier rating on his A1 ability. Here it is. And remember, that's a 2-time hitter. So 1.9 times 2 is indeed strong. Then on the AoE attack, it's a 3.75. Again, a strong attack. And then a whopping 6.3 multiplier on the A3. Again, strong damage rating. So this dude's a nuker who brings decreased speed. A lot of control there. His own increased speed. He's healing himself. He's mitigating getting his own damage. He's putting skills on cooldown by 1 turn on his A1. He's stealing turn meter, and he is placing a 2-turn stun. Wow, he is doing a ton. What a great Void Epic. To me, this is exactly what a Void Epic should be like. Just bringing a ton of utility outside just one dimension. Damage, for example, okay? Let me show you how I have him built here, guys. I have him in a very basic, I would say, build, like probably the most traditional. I got a few comments on the Fenix video that we did a couple days ago saying that, dude, we don't want to see weird sets on these champions. So I don't know how to do it, man. I mentioned this before, but I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't here. It's tough to please everybody, right? It really is. So I'm going to show you the most popular build, I would say, for Tuhak the Wanderer. But, you know, there's a bunch of different ways, right? There's many different ways to build every champion pretty much in this game. Anyway, we're maximizing his damage today, guys. We have Cruel and Savage on him. You could also go Savage and crit damage. You could also go Savage and Perception. Heck, you could run triple Perception gear if you want to and still build him out to deal some decent damage. So there's a lot of different ways to build him. I love Savage gear, and here's the total stats. We have 33k on the HP. We have 2300 on the defense, 44 on the attack. I am pleased with all of these stats, although I will mention his HP might be a little bit shy of what we're aiming towards, which is around 40k for a nuker, but he's going to stay alive, and that's the only thing that really matters, right, with this champion. 190 speed, sure, we'd like to see it faster, but we can't have everything on this dude. 100% crit rate, 236 on the crit damage, and 304 accuracy is super important on this champion. Generally 10 to 12 points of accuracy per stage of the dungeon that you're going after. So 300 gets it done pretty much everywhere that I'm using him, which is Faction Wars, Doom Tower Secret Rooms, which I will show you in today's video as well, and just DPS really wherever you need it, right? So we are talking about his skills. In terms of blessings, we went with Crushing Rend. You guys are probably sick of me saying it if you've seen multiple guides here on the channel. But for me, for epic damage dealers, heck, even a lot of damage dealers who are legendary, I like Cruelty, I like Crushing Rend. Those are my faves, you know, those are my 2 favorites. I guess I would give a nod also to Phantom Touch. So we have a few different options. The only reason, that I would go with Phantom Touch on Tuhak the Wanderer is if we were mainly utilizing him for, if I can speak, maybe utilizing him for Fire Knight primarily, right? This dude's a boss against Fire Knight. He has that stealing turn meter and the decreased speed and dealing damage all at the same time. So we can get that extra hit off of Phantom Touch if it procs on that A1 ability as well and help get that shield down. So that would be an alternative for you guys if you're using him in that particular area. All right, guys, Masteries on Tuhak the Wanderer. We went with pretty much chalk, I would say. Unless you're using him against bosses, like a lot of boss usage out of this champion, I prefer going with kind of an arena-esque build. This still is applicable to PvE. Obviously, ignoring defense works against, well, every champion and every boss in the game on Helm Smasher. So if you go to most websites out there, I think they'll recommend going War Master. Again, I found that, again, it all depends on where you're using this champion, but I prefer Helm Smasher because this guy absolutely just destroys against waves, and it'll be dealing significant more damage if you go Helm Smasher versus War Master. However, if you're using him, you know, as DPS against a boss, a clan boss, whatever, obviously in that situation, I would go with War Master. But you guys can see I did pick up Ruthless Ambush for that first hit. I came down here, bring it down as well. They're always going to have higher max HP, so really maximizing his damage. You'll also see a lot of builds recommend going defense tree on Tuhak the Wanderer. You can absolutely get utility coming down here and picking up Retribution, probably just starting off Tough Skin, going Blast Proof, going Resurgent, Delay Death, and then going down with Retribution to have more chances at putting those skills on cooldown vis-a-vis the A1 is a viable option. But again, man, I really want that accuracy on this champion. Do not overlook accuracy. If you're treating this champion just as a damage dealer, you're not going for the 2-turn stun, you're not going for the decreased speed, you're not going for the turn meter steal, you are wasting, I don't know, this is arbitrary, but you're wasting like 60% of what he's bringing to the table, 70%, who knows, a ton. So accuracy is paramount on this champion, guys. I went down to Evil Eye, and I'd love to have a chance at increasing the duration of the decreased speed on that A2. So Master Hexer for me made support tree kind of a no-brainer. All right, guys, here we are in Doom Tower, Secret Room 6, Doom Tower Hard Track, Epic Void Champions only. So we have Ursula, we have Skathix, we have White Dryad Naya, and then we have Tuhak and Akemtum for our DPS. Let's see how they do, these two being really the only DPS on the squad. No one else is built with any crit rate or anything like that. And who do you think is going to get more damage, right? Not that it's all about damage. Again, bringing that decreased speed is absolutely, invaluable. White Dryad Naya also has decreased speed on her A1, but it's only a 50% land rate when booked. So between the two of them, dealing with the annoying cleanses on the enemy team as well. But let's see how often we can have that decreased speed up there. It's such a powerful debuff to have. I think the more time that goes by in this game, the more I acknowledge just how powerful having a decreased speed champion on my team is, or even two of them. So, did our man just go down? Our man just went down, guys. I don't like that one bit. But he was kind of squishy. I did mention that in the beginning there. The good news is we do have a Reviver and Ursula the Mourner on the squad. So let's go ahead and get him picked back up, please, Ursula. You didn't burn your revive, did you? No, she didn't. That's a great revive. We did a guide, as I mentioned earlier, on Ursula the Mourner as well. What a great support champion. She's also bringing the increased attack, which obviously benefits Mr. Tuhak the Wanderer in a significant way. So now with strength and increased defense up there, he's going to be really, really nice. He's going to go ahead and decrease that turn meter. And you can see not only is he decreasing, obviously, but at A3, he's already back to his A1. You can see the increased cooldown. Obviously, it didn't matter. He killed, the mob. But that A1, do not discount that as well, right? We're constantly kind of reducing that turn meter. It's really, really nice. So, guys, there's World of Battle coming in there again with a decreased speed, increased speed forever on Tuhak because of that A2. Not forever, but it's up there a lot, right? So I just really love this champion. He's able to get a lot of turns, right? So I guess another alternative for PvE could simply be Reflex and or Relentless gear if you wanted to go a little bit unorthodox, because let's face it, we all only have so much Savage and Lethal gear, right? Even myself. I run into, okay, who am I going to take this gear from? Because I'm running out of good Savage gear, So sometimes on a champion like Tuhak, I will go a little bit unorthodox. I will throw him in, a few perception sets or something like that, or lifesteal, or, like an old school set, just to kind of keep him alive. So guys, there we go again on that A1, decreasing cooldown. You love to see it. I'm going to come back at the end of this one. You guys kind of get the point at this point, right? I'm going to come back at the end, and we'll see what he can do in terms of overall damage on this team. We've seen what he can bring to the table in terms of the debuffs. Obviously, incredibly helpful. There goes that A2 again, dealing some decent damage as well. I'll be right back in just a moment. All right, guys, here we are on the third wave, finishing things up right now, hopefully, and getting the job done, right? Getting the job done. I will say that heal that he's bringing as well, super, super nice, healing himself. Came in handy there on the previous rotation, right before I picked back up with you guys. But boy, I hope that you guys have, sometimes that's all it takes, right? Even if you're semi-familiar with a champion, just kind of reacquainting yourself with what they're bringing to the table and all of their abilities. Sometimes if you're anything like me, you're like, wow, I forgot that he has all of that he's doing all of that. And that's definitely the case for me and Tuhak the Wanderer, So here he comes in again with that A3. Stealing, look at his turn meter. It's already back to full, essentially, right? Gets to come back in with the A1 and almost finish things for everybody. Let's see what he did in terms of damage output on this team. So a nice clean 1 million damage. 1 million damage. Really, really good DPS and control. So leading the squad there in terms of DPS, about 750,000 for Akemtum as well. Let's go ahead and jump into the arena. Again, I just want to get a sense for how much damage we can expect from this champion in the arena. Not to say that he is the quintessential arena nuker, but I imagine if you're speed farming your Great Hall, he could be a pretty viable option. So obviously an OP team around him here. I'm not pretending anything other. Let's put Madame Ceres on there just for a debuffer, just to get a quick damage check. So let's go ahead. I could just go on manual. Come on, Ash. Don't be that lazy, dude. So we're not going against the best team ever or anything like that, but I do want to see what he can put out in terms of, could he carry a team nuke-wise? My gut is, why not? With those multipliers, he should be able to, right? So we'll come in here, turn meter reduction on Arbiter. He is up. So it's pretty cool, right? We could choose to, if the champion has less than 50% HP. So right now, it wouldn't make sense opening with clever brutality. But on the next go round, I mean, surely if they're not dead, they're going to have less than 50% HP. And we can come in there and we can steal their turn meter, 100% of it, and come right back at them. So let's just remove this, come in, and a 1. The damage was pretty dang good. Let me try one more. I lied. Let me try one more here. Maybe a little bit of a tankier team. Let's see what we can do here. Okay. So we're going against a Stone Skin Mithrala. Bolster set on, well, I would imagine it's on Wither. We come in here. Unable to remove. Let's just see what we can do here. So this is, again, the A2, but we'll have to go through the shield, so keep that in mind. You know what? Not great damage, but not awful damage, you know? There's not that many nukers out there that could get through that big bolster set, because I'm sure Wither has a ton of HP. But we can come back in, and we're still in this, kind of, right? Okay, let's speed boost. Get that increase attack. Come right back in here with the A2 again. This time we don't have to go through the shield, and we do some decent damage to their Reviver in Pytheon. However, things aren't looking great. But now we have a chance to come in with that hard-hitting A3. That stupid shield, though. I hate that they have the double shield, especially with the grow shield ability, right? So I think we can steal all the turn meter from, I think his HP's below. Let's see. Boom. And yeah, we have full turn meter. So not bad. Unfortunately, they have a complete heal on their team with Wither the Crowned. So we're going to lose this one. But it's hard. Honestly, this one was kind of hard to say if I was impressed or not impressed. All right, guys, let's face this kind of a hybrid team here. They got a Ronda UDK, Pytheon in Arbiter. Suffice it to say, again, I think he's a competent arena nuker for early mid-game, but probably not somebody who's going to last you into, deep into, let's go after Arbiter here, deep into, gold, the higher stages of gold or platinum. So he comes in there with a pretty good nuke. We get a chance to do it all over again. I'm going to be careful of Ronda here. I'm going to remove that unkillable, and hopefully we can go next. Nope. So Ronda does come in, but she doesn't kill anybody. Hopefully we can kill them all. Boom. Hey, you know what? 70 to 90k damage. Could be a lot worse, guys. We're going to end the video there. Thank you so much for watching, and keep the guide requests coming, guys. I appreciate you watching, and as always, take care, guys.